Some more challenges that my research posed were irrelevant and poor quality of data, because I was working with the largest set of data that I've encountered, which is the historical sales data from 45 Walmart locations nationwide every week for over 2 years. There was a lot of information and characteristics of the data that I needed to sort through and analyze. And there were a lot of times where, even after all the data extraction and elimination that I did, the results of the model were still inconclusive. And speaking of the second bullet point, this was definitely a challenging research experience, one with many, many errors. And there were a lot of overwhelming moments because I was working with such a large set of data, and as someone who hasn't had that much experience in machine learning and statistics. So I found myself spending late nights on websites like Investopedia, learning about multiple linear regression and the lasso regression model, and countless days asking my math teachers about uh, the challenges of statistical analysis. And I can't forget the times where I spent looking through my code, trying to understand what went wrong with my model. And I really started to understand why, even when you're training a machine learning model to predict something for you and to ultimately make decision making easier, it still requires a rigorous amount and painstaking amount of attention and critical thinking. And finally, looking back, the speed of my models could definitely have been faster, and improving the time and space complexity of my models is something that I definitely want to encounter in the future. So, what interested me about this research was that I've always been interested in learning about consumer behavior because I think that it tells us what the world is thinking at any given moment in time. And in this day and age, with the power of high speed computation and intelligent systems paired with complex statistical approaches, we have the ability to effectively learn about the market, all while forming decisions that provide the most amount of good for the consumer. Something new that I learned from my research was the process of regularization in statistics and machine learning. And this was critical to understanding the lasso model, which utilizes L1 regularization, and I definitely want to continue to uh, learn about the ridge regression model, which uses L2 regularization. And through regularization, I learned that we can avoid overfitting, which is a problem I encountered in my multiple linear regression model solely because of the sheer amount of input variables that there were. And these concepts were something I hadn't learned prior to the research. And like I said, I want to continue to develop my understanding in these topics. A future application of this research is hopefully I can utilize the multiple linear regression and lasso model approaches to machine learning beyond just sales prediction. Um, I want to utilize these methods to conduct research specifically in the field of neuroscience and psychology to help better understand consumer behavior better. Thank you.